hinges creak in doorless chambers, and strange and frightening sounds echo through the halls. Whenever candlelights flicker, where the air is deathly still, that is the time when ghosts are present, practicing their terror with ghoulish delight.
I mean, come on. That is poetry right there, man. We're not only talking Disney fandom, we're talking mansion fandom within Disney fandom. It's a niche within a niche.
Yeah, it's like my little paradise.
So I think what people love about the Haunted Mansion is it was that perfect combination of scary and funny. It's not just a dark and spooky haunted house where you go through and you're scared and that's it. It has a little bit of something for everyone.
There's a lot of people out there addicted to drugs, and there's a lot of people out there addicted to alcohol. I'm addicted to the Haunted Mansion.
Have those ghosts that pop up behind the tombstones, and now they do it slowly because I guess I remember as a kid I hated those things. Like, you know, I never knew when they were going to pop up. Well, now they come up very slowly.
The dollar amount on how much I've spent on Haunted Mansion merchandise. Oh gosh, too much, but not too much, because I continue to spend. I really don't know, because I've never paid attention. If it's Haunted Mansion, it's just like, I close my eyes and hand them my Visa, you know?
Walt Disney passed away in the middle of the creation of the Haunted Mansion. He was not extremely clear about what he wanted in the Haunted Mansion. It had a long development time, so he always wanted it. I don't think he knew exactly what to put in it, but that's why he has great people working for him, right?
When they started the Haunted Mansion, I was actually asked to work on it years before. Walt got Gail Gracie and myself, another gentleman I worked with, and put us together and said, I want to build a haunted mansion. I want you guys to come up with some ideas. Came back the next morning, was sitting at my desk at 7 o'clock and said, I didn't get a good night's sleep because of what you told me and showed me yesterday. So he said, I thought about it all night long. He says, what we'll do, he says, we'll do a museum of the weird. And he says, Rolly, you can design whatever you want that's weird and put into that museum. I said, great.
The Hatbox Ghost was sort of every fan's little secret, you know, because you had to be a fan to know about him.
And it's really a strange thing. It's like there's no pirate in Pirates of the Caribbean that was, you know, old One Eye. He's never been there, but everybody knows old One Eye. No, we don't. And there never was. And so Hatbox Ghost is kind of an anomaly, really.
The way my mother told me was that I had just stopped crying. It was just done. I was like, this is the greatest thing I had ever seen. It was euphoric for me. Like, oh my God, look at all these cartoon ghosts.
I wanted people out there to know that they're not alone as fans of this ride.
I couldn't believe that people actually did that. People dressed up as characters, that was unheard of to me. I didn't know that existed, that realm, and that it was okay, that you could do that.
That's how I like to think about my loved ones who have passed on, that they're, you know, around and they're having a good time and having a party. I believe the Haunted Mansion is actually haunted. I know that a lot of people do spread their loved ones' ashes there, and people have, you know, come up with stories that they've been touched or they see things, or either cast members or guests, and yeah, I truly believe that.
Well, the Haunted Mansion book was interesting because the whole reason I wrote it was because it was a book I wanted to read, but it didn't exist at the time. But I thought it would be great if there was sort of one-stop shopping for a history of Walt Disney's Haunted Mansion and all of its incarnations throughout the Magic Kingdom parks in the world.
Hello, Haunted Mansion fans. Welcome to my home. Come on in. And he's just starting up now. We made this at one of our haunt groups. He has a sensor on him. He's made of foam, very light. The base is wood, and he moves back and forth down there. But I love Haunted Mansion just as much as I like Pottery Barn, so I marry the two.
People will be like, oh, it's the coolest purse. I'm like, oh, thanks. It's my Haunted Mansion purse. But at the same time, I don't have to be like, I'm a Haunted Mansion fan! It kind of just like for me, subtly, and I like that.
A Hitchhiker's Tale is a film I always wanted to make. I thought that was the perfect opportunity to tell a story about just where the hitchhiking ghosts come from, what their story is. There are a ton of stories out there by cast members and fans.
I couldn't understand that those weren't real ghosts dancing in that ballroom. My eyes were deceiving me. I kept saying to my dad after we walked out of the mansion, "Dad, how did they get the ghosts in there?" I didn't understand. I was 8 years old.
I was kind of in a sheltered home a little bit, so mostly the only things that I had access to that were of a darker nature were things that I would see in things like Disney movies or going to the parks and having like a haunted mansion and a Pirates of the Caribbean, things that were more like spooky that I was able to enjoy.
Actually, back then I had an AOL account. You know, people were making their website tributes to their favorite band or their pet, you know, on GeoCities. And and AOL gave all its members like AOL home space, you know, homepage space. So I thought, oh, I like Disney. So I put it together, a few articles I'd collected over the years about the Haunted Mansion. That was the humble beginnings of DoomBuggies.com. It was actually AOL.com/Chef Mayhem's unofficial tribute to the Haunted Mansion.
I have actually changed it to suit me. I made this verdigris green, and then I aged this down because this looks a little too new to me. And then this got aged down, just for me, for my piece. These originally sold for $35. And you could buy two, but on eBay it went for over $900, and I did not buy them. But it's in my possession now.
I was there with my mom and my little brother when I was 3 or 4, and this has scarred me to this day, where I was on it with my mom going through one of the halls, and a guy in a night suit came right at us and attacked the car. And my mom, who has obviously been going on that since she was a kid, she freaked out because she had never been to this thing, and we actually thought we were going to die.
We moved back 5 years ago so we could figure out and be around Disney. And they have both turned into little Disney nuts themselves, especially my daughter. She's autistic and she loves everything Disney, but on top of that, she loves Haunted Mansion. My daughter loves to get dressed up as the Haunted Mansion ghost from like Not So Scary Halloween. She loves when I do her makeup like that. Not all kids are scared of everything, and special needs children love Haunted Mansion too.
And I saw a girl there, and she started talking about Haunted Mansion. And I said, oh, I kind of like the Haunted Mansion. She goes, do you really? I said, yeah, my house is kind of a museum of the Haunted Mansion. And she says, wait a minute. Are you the guy that has those pictures online? I said, what pictures? And sure enough, she had seen my picture somewhere on Facebook or somewhere. And she was familiar with a lot of my stuff. And we made a connection just because of that. So I've made a lot of new friends simply because of my love of Haunted Mansion.
I relate to her in the fact that, even though she has these alligators snapping at her feet, she doesn't have a care in the world. She's got that look in her eyes, like it doesn't matter to her what's going on around her, that she's still gonna get across that tightrope, her tightrope of life, even though, there's peril at her feet. It doesn't matter to her. She's just going to continue doing what she's doing. It doesn't matter. That's the Haunted Mansion purse. Like, that's so cool. I need a Haunted Mansion. I need it.
A lot of people talk about, that record. It's just, that comes up over and over again, that record, I had that record, and that's how I know the script of the Ghost Host in the stretching room, because I listen to the record so often.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Haunted Mansion. I am your host, your ghost host.
First time I heard it played back, I thought, sounds a little heavy on the echo, but I guess the kids liked it that way. So like if you have any inkling of romantic feelings towards somebody and you're in a doom buggy with them, it feels like you can come out a little closer afterwards. Just sort of a shared kind of cocoon to hang out in.
I have in fact seen the cosplay of our Haunted Mansion Leota Tombstone, and it kind of blows my mind to think that this little project that we did as an enhancement, shortly after the turn of the century, has kind of taken its place as one of the pieces of iconography that fans associate with the mansion.
You said, that's so you. From the purple hair and the little top hat all the way down, it's so very, very you. I could see you holding court wearing that outfit. And I got to thinking, and I'm like, well, I could possibly pull that off. I'll have to work at a few things. But, it inspired me to make this outfit. I love wearing it. It's a lot of fun.
But basically, you know, it's my turn to be the personification of the Haunted Mansion.
What would Walt have thought or done, you know, if he did live? You know, it's a great question. We do have some clues, you know, because, you know, Rolly Crump was one of the guys working on the Haunted Mansion. Walt stuck him on that, like everything. Walt chose who's working on what, and he had Rolly Crump working on the Haunted Mansion. And, you know, the other Imagineers were not really going along with what Rolly Crump was doing. They didn't really love it, and Rolly was a young guy, and they were more Walt's peers, so there was that going on. And also, Rolly just had a really esoteric, interesting point of view.
The new additions that they put throughout in Disneyland are fine. They're fine. They're done in good taste. The people that do them stay within the parameters of the ride itself. So I think that's good.
God damn. Other than Paul Frees, you know, doing the Ghost Host. That would be horrible.
Well, every time I'm there, let's say I'm there for a 3-day time, I try to go at least 4 times a day.
You just get lost in that world. You become that other person, and your cares just fade away because you're not worried about anything else. You're having the time of your life. You think almost like this is what it's like for the characters at Disneyland. This is what they get to do. They have the best job in the whole world.
Now there's cameras throughout the attraction. So there were no cameras in the attraction when I worked it. And so there was a position called safety. And my entire shift consisted of staying in the depths of the ride, wandering just out of view of guests behind the doom buggies from about the endless hallway to the exit of the attic into the graveyard. I would spend 8 hours just going back and forth, making sure that people weren't doing the things that they shouldn't be.
When I first started trying to put this room together, I was going to do a New Orleans square theme, but all the things that I've collected over the years, the stretching portrait started 17 years ago for the 30th anniversary. And it just kind of grew from there. I would just start picking up pieces here and there, and I said, I think we have enough to make a really cool room. So that's how we put it together.
That's what the Haunted Mansion does. It brings out memories. If Walt Disney, apart from everything else he did, if he did one thing perfectly, better than anybody else could ever do, he was a memory maker. He was a magician when it came to the heart.
So I designed the Doom Buggy Spook Show logo on my shirt. I originally did a drawing in my downtime of the Hatbox Ghost that looked about like this.
So we're going as retro 50s style Haunted Mansion, tightrope girl this year. And Fancy Pants is a retro Hatbox girl, Dapper Day girl. And my husband is going as a 50s, cool cat, Haunted Mansion butler.
So you look for kind of tribal things, and in some strange way, Disneyland is like that. It's a safe way to run amok with the universe. So you kind of attach your real life and the things you do to this fantasy world, but you're not even aware of it.
The mansion will outlive any other kind of horror experience, Disney or not.
It will always be there until we die, until we can, even when I'm pushed in the wheelchair to the front of the line, fast pass, I will be going to the Haunted Mansion. Guaranteed, there's nothing that's going to change that. It's more than a ride or a place. It's something that people carry with them everywhere.
I hope I can always discover the next thing about the Haunted Mansion that makes the woods exciting and interesting.
You ride through Mansion today, and you could put that on par with Indiana Jones, with Spider-Man, with Gringotts, with Forbidden Journey. Haunted Mansion holds up, man. It holds up, and in most cases is better than its peers in that group.